And welcome to The Bunker. My name is Ed Rush, your host, five-time number one best-selling author, former F-18 fighter pilot, and today is going to be a fun day. Listen, today is open Q&A. What that means is you can ask me anything. It doesn't mean I need to answer it, but you can ask me anything about anything. But a lot of the questions we're going to get today are going to be about how to grow your business, how to grow your brand, how to launch a movement, and how to take over the world. Today's going to be a fun day too. I've got a few things to share in the fun category. But before I do that, let me just tell you that there is some great news down the pike. And I mentioned just about a week and a half ago that there was one statistic that I thought was the pivotal statistic when it came to coronavirus. And I finally, just a couple days ago, found that statistic. So I'm going to show it to you. And I have no conclusions just yet. I just have some data for you, but I think the data is actually hugely important. I just want to welcome you to the show. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, just off to the right-hand side on YouTube, just below on Facebook is the comment section or the chat section. That gives me the opportunity to say hello to you. And I just want to say hello to a couple of my friends who just joined us. Hello, Barry. Good to see you. Barry's from coming in from Palm Springs. Good to see you. My friend Michael Haig says hello. What's up, man? It's so good to see you. By the way, Michael, our show from last week has just eclipsed over 1,000 views, and that's thanks to you. Really great people here. Hello, Disa. Michael said, Delisa said, Michael Haig's in the house, and Michael said, well, I can't leave the house. You're not allowed unless you're getting your matzo ball soup, I think. Hello, Terry Gindras. I was just talking to Mike Koenigs about you yesterday. He said great things. What's up, Nobby Kleiman? Good to see you. Ed for Prez. I love that. Hi, Denise. Welcome back. Yeah, great to see everybody. Hello, Charles. Good to see you from Bozeman, Montana, where they've been socially distancing for years. Hello, Aubrey. Good to see you back from San Diego. Hello, hello. Hey, John. Welcome back. Aaron Miller from Dallas. My friend Mike Toy. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Gina. Great to see you. Nabi says, I love it. I thought this was appropriate for today. I just found out I'm awesome. You might want to get yourself tested. Oh, Linda, there's a story. Maybe I'll tell the story today about how I became Sharky. It's a surfing story, actually. Hello, Dr. Wendy Lee. I was just looking at your Instagram page today. Nice to see you, Dr. Thomas Ashton. Rafael, good to see you, buddy. Shuri, good to see you as well. David Zetz, my man. 6 Steps program. Oh, talking about Michael Haig's 6 Steps program. Awesome. If you haven't had opportunity to do that, go to Michael Haig's website, which is storymastery.com. Russ Gordon, my man from Colorado. Hello, Matt. Good to see you, buddy. Gizzy from Germany. Great to see you. This t-shirt. Siva from India. Hi, Siva. How are you? And Diana, great to see you. Gina, here's what I'm going to do, by the way. I bought about 15 shirts, and they accidentally sent me duplicates of them. I'm going to bring them all to my next event. I'm going to use them as giveaways, and I'll wash them, before I give them out. I told you we're just going to have fun. Hey, Elaine, good to see you, buddy. And Richard, welcome. All right, so we're going to start today with just a little bit of fun. I've been trolling the internet. I think that's probably the wrong word for it, to find some of the lighter moments about coronavirus. I'll tell you, one of the cool things about this, I thought I would never say this, but one of the cool things about this pandemic is it really has shown us how interconnected we are. And it's given us the opportunity to just make light of ourselves. And so today I just found a couple little spots around the internet that I thought were funny. And I'm going to play for you 2 videos that I played over a week ago, but I didn't have the sound on. And so they're worth at least watching again anyway. So this first one I thought was pretty good. Bridget on Twitter said, in an unsettling reversal of my teenage years, I'm now yelling at my parents for going out. I thought, isn't that true? We've got folks here in San Diego who are, San Diego has been barely hit by this. And we've got folks who are like yelling at each other for, hitting the streets. I like this one too. Day 1 of quarantine. I'm going to take this as an opportunity to improve my health. Day 2 of quarantine. Due to personal reasons, I'm eating lasagna in my shower. Hey, by the way, today's Focus Friday too. I forgot to mention that in the beginning of the introduction. you're going to share your biggest accountability item that you're going to take action on, and we'll do that just towards the end of the show. I failed to mention that. This is another one I liked: how I expected my apocalypse outfit to look like, and what it really is. I've seen some awesome shots of people on Zoom, with like their shirt and their tie and their jacket, and then their wife or husband and taking a picture of them with their jammy pants underneath of it. I'm wearing pants, by the way. I stand up at this board, so it would be difficult to say it otherwise. This guy, so there was quite a bit of discussion recently about the folks who traveled during the beginning of this outbreak, especially the spring breakers. So the internet kind of went around this guy. You can see him taking a picture of himself right there with the airplane behind him. Turns out he was actually sheltering at home. I thought that was pretty good. He's got his the picture of the airplane engine in the back. He's got the toilet seat, which I have no idea. How do you even remove that toilet seat? And there he is taking a picture of himself. I thought that was really good. And then last couple things. So this is, for example, this is people normally. You can see the family, everybody's on their connected devices. But, this is people during quarantine. So I thought, yeah, that's about right. We're not supposed to go out. So going out seems like, such a great and fun deal. Anyway, I thought some of those were pretty fun. Let me see. I got a couple of websites to show you, and I'm going to turn my sound on my computer so that you can listen to this. So a few weeks ago, I shared a sock puppet eating some passersby, and but I didn't have the sound on. So, and it really, really deserves some sound. So you can watch this. This is somebody sheltering in place. Check this out. So I thought that was pretty clever. And by the way, I showed the Unipiper just a few weeks ago, but I didn't have the sound, so you got to look at this guy. Oh, seriously. What will people do with their time? I thought that was absolutely hysterical. So I want to shift gears off of, hang on a second, all of a sudden, there we go, hang on. My YouTube just has a mind of its own. It just decides to start showing other things. My shoes, Gissy, are sneakers. I'll see if I can get up. Oh, there we go. Boom. Okay, yeah. So it's interesting you ask, because today I thought it's warming up in San Diego. Maybe I'll just wear my flip-flops. But I wore my regular shoes. All right. So a couple of weeks ago, I said to you, it was about a week and a half ago, when I talked about the stimulus package that's coming out of Washington. And a couple of weeks ago, I said that the statistic that I thought would end up being the single most pivotal statistic when it came to coronavirus was the number of otherwise healthy people who died. Okay, so I led in with that with a discussion of, and by the way, this is a nonpartisan, and in most of what I'm about to say, I'm not going to form an opinion. I'm going to allow you to think through this just a little bit. But what I hadn't heard was the number of deaths from normally otherwise healthy people, which I think is one of the most significant ones. There's underlying conditions like COPD, asthma, emphysema that people have struggled with, that this virus certainly accelerates in a lot of really bad ways. So I'm not dismissing that. But what I wanted to see was how many people who are otherwise healthy have passed away and connected to coronavirus. And so I'm going to take you to a website, and this is actual, just pure data that's coming through. The website is nyc.gov. Okay, so this isn't some random website. This is actually the New York City or the New York tabulation of health. You can see cases in New York, 50,000, total hospitalized 10, and deaths right around 1,500. That is actually accurate as of the 2nd of April, which is just yesterday. Okay, so last night essentially. So if you look at the data and actually you scroll down, this website is actually worth looking into. If you look, for example, at the data on total cases, what you can see is this is the breakdown of the age where the total cases typically lie. 52,000 was where they had as far as the total cases go. But I want you to look at this. This is super interesting. When you go over to the deaths, take a look at this. They broke this down, and I appreciate this. Now, New York has publicly said that they consider a coronavirus death anyone who passes away for any reason as long as they have COVID-19 or they test positive for COVID-19. So let's say theoretically, there's an 87-year-old who struggles with COPD and has a heart condition. This 87-year-old would have ended up passing away anyway. And the 87-year-old passed away. And if they pass away, but then they're tested positive for COVID-19, then it's counted as a death. And I'm not criticizing that. I'm just simply giving that to you as data to show you that amongst the deaths in New York, which is essentially 1,500, that's the number right there, which represents, by the way, so you saw 50,000 deaths, right? So that represents about 3%. So roughly 3% of the people that have tested positive you got in the death category. But this is super interesting. Look at this. Of the deaths, the ones that had, according to NYC, no underlying conditions being diabetes, lung disease, cancer, immunodeficiency, heart disease, hypertension, asthma, kidney disease, and GI or liver disease. So actually a fairly broad category. No underlying conditions is only 24. I want you to think about that for a second. That's 24 out of 52,000 cases. Okay, so without going into opinion land, what I am believing or starting to see is that the disease, as we've probably known for a while, is attacking folks clearly who have underlying conditions. If you're healthy and otherwise vital, it looks like you've got a pretty good fighting chance. And I will tell you, if this pans out and it continues this way, it will, I believe, inform the way we approach quarantine. I think the governments and the governors and the White House may begin to move to a place where people with underlying conditions begin to quarantine, where folks who are otherwise and overall healthy begin to move around. Now, I can't predict that because we are underneath the, oh man, I didn't want to say it. I'm having a moral dilemma right now because we've been fighting for the last 20 years a war on terror. But right now, it's our news media that's actually spreading the terror. I want you to just stick that one in your bonnet for just a little bit and just think about it. It's crazy. All right, so I said we're going to be positive. On the positive side, something happened yesterday. My wife was talking to her sister. My wife's sister works for Amazon. She lives up in Seattle. And something in that conversation just struck me for a moment. And I thought, this is kind of cool the way this works, because what happened is a whole bunch of her friends are out of work. Amazon, however, is like exploding, clearly, because everybody's getting stuff delivered right at home. And so what she's doing now is she's reaching out to her friends and finding those friends who are out of work, finding them temporary positions, working with Amazon, who actually needs more people. And I thought, how cool in this connected world that we live in, that demand and supply can meet each other so quickly. And when I did the economic discussion back on episode 6 or 7, I talked about risk and reward, or responsibility and reward. And I was leaning on an idea of supply versus demand. I thought, how cool is it that in our interconnected world, there is a business that has demand where other people have just become supply because, frankly, they're out of work, and how quickly they can find their way into places to work. I mean, it used to be back in the 19th century, if you needed labor, like, and for example, right around the Great Depression, there were laborers who traveled across the country to make their way to Nevada to the Hoover Dam project so that they could find labor there. And some of them made it all the way there and found out there was no work left. I mean, that's how people maneuvered around to try to find labor. And now because we're so interconnected. People who need work can find it at some of these places that have it. So I just want to give you a positive on that side. Last thing I'll say about this, and by the way, I'll just make a couple of comments that just came in, which is pretty great. So Charles Raphael says, thank you for sharing this info. People need to do their own research and investigation and not simply trust the info media. Yeah, you got that right. So Charles says, I totally agree. Melanie, this is a good point. She says, hate how some of the media is focusing on blame instead of coming together and focusing on a solution. So here's the thing that I said about a week and a half ago. Focus on the problem, attack the problem, not the person. After this is all over, we'll be able to look back and figure out what decisions were made, what was right and what was wrong. But I will tell you, you can't criticize a leader for making the wrong decision with the wrong data. Let me give you an example of what I mean by this. Let's say you're a military commander and the weather outlook is perfectly clear. And then all of a sudden during your attack, the rain starts pouring in and it spoils the entire attack. Well, you could look back on that and go, well, that military commander should have known that it was going to rain. Well, he didn't know, or she didn't know that it was going to rain. And so you can only look at the decisions that people are making based on the information they have. And when you're at war, and we are at war, trusting data is very difficult. That's the reason why I showed you a .gov site, not somebody else's a random blog. Denise, the news media have always spread terror in the days of AIDS and before, and you would know because you're on the front line of that battle as well. So rather than fighting ISIS on the ground, I don't know if I want to go there, Nobby. If it bleeds, it leads. If they can get clicks, no joke, man. No joke. It's like being in the left seat at the pointy end. You make the best decisions you can with the information you have. The rest is armchair quarterbacking. Okay, last thing I want to share with you very quickly is this website. So two things. First of all, the Treasury has some instruction regarding what's called the Paycheck Protection Program. I will just tell you, I've been through this document. It's at treasury.gov. It's a confusingly written document. As far as I can tell, there are 4 places that say that 1099 contractors can factor into employees that you can borrow and not have to pay back. There's one place where it says that they don't, okay? So my suggestion is talk to your local bank to see if you qualify for the Paycheck Protection Program. But that said, thank you, Delisa Tool. And if you could just put this link, actually, you know what? I'll do it too, right into chat. Now, I'm just going to encourage you to do this. Oh, thank you, Linda. I want to show that statistic in just a second. I threw that link in chat. The only thing is you have to wait to the end of the show to fill it out. Okay, so on this website, there is apparently $10,000 available for businesses who are economically affected by COVID-19 fairly quickly to fill out, and a $10,000 opportunity. Okay, so every business I know has been affected in one way or another. Shoot, we've all been affected. So there's an opportunity for you. Now, you probably remember that I was not a big fan of the $2 trillion spending bill. Here's my thought on the money. And this might sound contradictory, and you're welcome to disagree with me if you want to. My thought is you're going to be paying for that for about the next 10 years. So you might as well get a bit of it now so that you can invest in something, watch it grow, and you'll have the money to pay it back. Linda, thank you for the numbers. Linda said 25 divided by 52. And Linda's the math expert, resident math expert. 24 divided by 52,948 is 0.04%. That's not 4% or 0.4%. That's 0.04%. That's the rate in New York of cases versus deaths of overall healthy people. And just remember, the data is still moving, but there's probably, my guess is there's probably more like 2 or 3 times as many actual cases out there. Anyway, thank you for that, Linda. All right, so here is the dealio. Today is open Q&A. What that means is it's your opportunity to ask a question on anything that you want, whether it's business or live streaming or writing books or promoting yourself on social media or building your brand or your business. I am here to help you and to serve you for the next hour or the next 40 minutes that we are live. I'm going to set aside the last 5 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes of today's show for you to share your main focus item, the thing that you want most for accountability. Now, if you've been with us before, the way to ask a question is to write the word question in chat. So just write question, a little semicolon, and then ask your question so that I can see that it's an actual question, and then I can pop it out. And depending on how many questions we get, I may carry some over to our next open Q&A. So now's the time to put the question in. But before I do that, what I would love to do is just tell you about next week. I spent quite a bit of time this week and last week preparing for our shows next week. I wanted to be able to go deep into some content that is perfectly applicable for every single one of your businesses that are here. And so what I did was I took some time to think about the things that if I was hanging out at home like I am and you are, what are the things that I really want to master? And then I went out and found the people that I thought were the best in their field at each of these different areas. And so I want to show you what our game plan is for next week. We've got shows planned, of course, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern, but they're each about a specific topic. So next week I'm calling Expert Week. What that means is I'm bringing folks in to speak on a specific topic. So for example, I've been talking about this for a little while, but next week, on Monday, I'll be teaching the top 9 live streaming tips to grow your business. I've already started preparing for this. In fact, I just did a whole video walkthrough of my studio, including the lights, the cameras, the sound. I've got 2 different sound options available to you, and I'm going to have a list of resources that are available to you from basically free all the way up to about 300, maybe just a little bit more than that, in terms of building a studio. Many of you have asked how you can live stream and how you can share your content. And so I'm going to be doing that on Monday, and I may in fact be bringing someone in to talk a little bit about that on the tech side. Okay, just so you know, I'm going to probably just, if you're on my email list, I'm going to probably send one email with all of the shows, the listing of all the shows, and then we're just going to run every day. So the website to come to is edrush.com/bunkerbash. When you go there, it'll take you to my YouTube page where the day's show will be. Okay, Tuesday, I'm bringing in my friend Marquetta Breslin. If you don't know Marquetta, she is absolutely one of the smartest people on planet Earth when it comes to social media. She's also just a really, really good person. And she and her husband, Ricky, have been helping me quite a bit behind the scenes with the show, especially when it's comes to social media. She's really one of the best, I think, in the world on Instagram and also on IGTV. And so I'm going to bring Marquetta in on Tuesday to share the top 9 social media tips to build your brand. You're going to love that. Okay. On Wednesday, I'm going to bring in my friend, Paul Culligan. On Wednesday, Paul and I will be sharing the top 9 podcasting tips to broadcast your message. If you don't know Paul, I call him the Podfather. He was one of the first people ever podcasting back, I don't know when podcast, 15 years ago or something like that. He's just really brilliant, and he's got an ability to look at the market and to be able to see how you can promote a podcast. So if you're interested in podcasting, or if you do have a podcast, Wednesday is for you. All right, Thursday, we're going to talk together about the top 9 LinkedIn tips to connect with your ideal customer. That's Yakov Smart. Yakov's actually a client of mine. I was in a coaching day with him, and I was like, man, this guy is brilliant when it comes to LinkedIn. And he's been giving me ideas on how to grow my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn, by the way, is closing in on about 10,000 connections, which on LinkedIn, that's massive. That's like 300,000 people on Facebook. So I've been able to use the strategies that we're going to be sharing on Thursday, and we'll be sharing those with you. And then finally on Friday, Jim House and I are going to tag team with each other to talk about the top 9 book publishing tips to share your message. I've shared this with you before. This book, 21 Day Miracle, I've sold over 30,000 copies of this. At one point, it was Amazon's #1 business book, and it was the number 22 book over all books on Amazon at one point as well. I beat Tim Ferriss and Seth Godin. I've got the screenshot of that. So it was a pretty cool time in terms of the book promotion. So Jim was my publisher for this book, and Jim is one of the best I've ever seen when it comes to content development, just a genius. And he turned a okay book, frankly, into a great book. And so Jim and I are going to spend time on Friday talking to you about how to share your message through a book. If you've written a book, there will be some strategies that I will be sharing, and Jim will also, on how to improve the exposure of a current book, and also how to launch, if you want to, a second book or a third book or a fifth book in this case. 25.7% of the people who buy my book opt in on my email list. And there's a reason for that. And I'm also going to show you that. The last thing we'll be sharing is there is a way to use Amazon to broadcast your book. Full disclosure, I sent about one email out to my list on this book, and that email probably got me 100 purchases. The other 29,900 were driven by Amazon mostly. Okay, so some cool ideas and some cool things coming next week, which should be really, really fun. Roy said, I saw Paul at Experts Academy. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for saying that. It's awesome just to be able to do this. And I'm looking forward to doing that. Awesome. Love to learn more about live streaming, says John, and very, very good. Okay, so let's just jump into some of the questions that you have been asking. So I appreciate all the questions that are coming in. I'm going to do my best to make sure that I get through these. And what I want to be able to do, and Dennis, I saw your question. I'm actually going to go to you first because you emailed me your question, and I appreciate that. If you would, Delisa, just grab the questions. You may have already done that, and just throw them into a document for me because I want to make sure that I get them in the order that they come in. And sometimes when there's more, like I'm seeing, getting them into chat is sometimes difficult. Okay, so today is open Q&A. So we're going to take your questions, whatever you want to ask. And then as we wrap up today, it's going to be Focus Friday. And bam, thank you, Sally, by the way. Yakov is awesome, man. He's my man. All right, so what was I just about to say? Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll do the thing that y'all make fun of me about. Everyone jokes about the fact that I pick up my coffee mug and then I start talking and I put it back down. But you know what I'll do? I'll just take a sip of coffee. All right, so let's get to the questions and then we'll get to Focus Friday. And then today is family movie night here at the Rush House. So we're just gonna chill. All right, so Dennis says, I have several thousand discretionary dollars right now and no other investments. What would you suggest doing with it besides building an experimental airplane? All right, so I have a couple of thoughts for you, Dennis. I really appreciate that question. And just so you know, if you're new to the show, this leverages off of a recommendation I made about a week ago. I talked about what to do with your money in today's economy. The principles behind that were that I was predicting that interest rates were going to be going up. And now is a really great time, I think, to borrow if you can borrow at a fixed rate, low interest. But also, it's a really great time to invest in businesses. And Dennis asked me the question via email. And he said, when you said small business, what were you really referring to? And I will tell you that the Small Business Association in the United States refers to small businesses as 500 employees and below. I don't think that's a small business. I think a small business is more like 20 to 30 employees, all the way down to one. Okay, so Dennis, when I look for businesses to invest in or to help, I look for, number one, I look for businesses with incredible growth potential and a great product. So the product working is really, really important to me. The second thing is I'm looking for people that I like. In other words, if I'm going to invest in a company, I'm going to work with people that I like to be around. If they're, life's too short to hang around with people that you don't want to hang around with. And so I'm looking, number one, for a product that works, that truly meets its claims. Number two, people that I like. Number three, big upside. So there should be maybe undermarketed or undervalued with a great chance to explode. And then number four, I always come in, my investing, if I'm investing in a company, I'm looking to come in as an investor advisor. In other words, I'm looking potentially to put some money into a company, but I'm also looking to leverage my understanding of growing businesses to come in as an advisor because I want to partner with businesses and see them grow. Okay, so those are a couple criteria that I'm looking for. The last one usually is the owner should be the founder. In other words, it's not a family business that's been passed on and on and on. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm looking for hungry young owners. So for example, there is a product that I've got in my hand that's called HydroShot. This product, I am not a scientist and I do not play one on TV. What I will simply tell you is there is scientific research to show that molecular hydrogen is an immunomodulator. One of my friends is a guy named Tyler LeBaron who runs a research institute called the Molecular Hydrogen Research Institute or the Hydrogen Research Institute. I watched Tyler speak. He started speaking about the benefits of hydrogen or molecular hydrogen. And I pulled him aside and I said, where can I find some of this stuff? And he privately, because he can't do it publicly because he's a nonprofit, privately introduced me to someone who told me about this particular drink. You can think of it as an energy drink, although it's not like a normal energy drink full of junk. It's a scientific, in my opinion, it's actually a scientific miracle what this guy's been able to produce. By the way, Delisa, if you can put this link into chat, and I will too. I'll just do it really quickly. It's H2Bev, H2Bev.com. And when you go there, hang on a second. I'm going to get back to your question, Dennis, in just a second. When you go there, type in my name in the coupon field, you get 10% off. Now, full disclosure, I am thinking about investing in this company. So by the time you watch this video, I may have a stake in this particular company. So Dennis, back to your question, this is an example of what I'm looking for. I think the product is great. I drink 2 of those a day, by the way. The data that I saw says that this will increase your increase your blood flow by 30 to 50% without increasing your heart rate. So you feel it. Like I'm telling you, when you drink this stuff, you totally feel it. And I know this sounds like some great big gigantic product placement, but it's an excellent answer to your question. The product I believe in, I really, really like the people, and I think they have an enormously massive upside, okay? So anyway, go to h2bev.com, use coupon, I'll put this in, Ed Rush. I can't remember if you put it, separate the Ed and the Rush or not, but try it out. And then Dennis, when you're looking again at companies, those are the criteria that I'm typically looking for to invest in. I think you should build a plane, by the way. I think you should build a plane. All right. So let me get to, I got my list. So I appreciate that. Delisa, let me get to some of the questions. Okay. So Mike Toy, where you at, Mike? Let me find the question because I'd love to be able to just put it up right here on the screen. Let's do this one really quickly. So Roy says, yes, Ed, what is your language pattern for selling books on stage? Okay, so thank you, Roy, for that question. I'm going to do this, Roy, in 2 ways. And I will tell you, if you're not registered for the Ultimate Speaker, the website is actually just below. I teach you at Ultimate Speaker 4 things. Teach you more than 4 things. Teach you 4 ways to make money as a speaker. 1 is through keynote or fee-based speaking. Number 2 is selling your products. Number 3 is selling your coaching or advising, which is the most lucrative. And number 4 is offering or selling your books. Okay, so let's go to how to offer a book from the stage, and I'm going to do it in 2 different ways. Okay, so the first one is, let's say you're just selling the book from the stage. So there's a couple of little tips for you when you're speaking. First one is how you hold the book, and here's what I'm going to do. Actually, I've got one back here that is matte finish, so when I hold it up, it's not super shiny. See that? So when I hold the book up when I'm speaking, the first thing you should know, Roy, is that when you hold your book, make sure you hold it like it's important to you. You know, you don't want to be, so hold it like it's important to you, and then talk briefly about some of the benefits. In this book, you're going to learn how to get more done in less time with less waste, finally allowing yourself the freedom to enjoy life. Inside of 21 Day Miracle, I show you how to accomplish incredible things in a very short period of time through a technique called strategic sprints. And I'll show you how to do it in fitness, in relationships, overcoming addictions, growing your money, and growing your business. There's actually 10 different 21 Day Miracles inside of this book. And the great thing is, these things, they're 20 bucks. Think about that. You get a simple $20 investment and you can change your life. So go to the back after I'm talking so that you can get your book. So that's way number 1. Now, my favorite way to offer books, because I don't normally do it that way when I'm speaking, my favorite way to offer books is to be on the phone with the meeting planner before, and I'll say something like this. How many people do you have that you're expecting to come in? And they'll say, well, we have about 300 people. And I say, look, my 21 Day Miracle book is a $20 book, but I'll discount them down to $7 a piece. And that way you can get in one of these into the hands of every single one of your attendees. And what I'm going to do, I tell the meeting planners, I'm going to make a big deal about how you were the one that bought it for them. And I guarantee you'll get a standing ovation from your audience because they're going to be so thankful that you bought this book. And sure enough, I have a way and a technique, which you'll hear at Ultimate Speaker, for how to get people to give a standing ovation for that. Okay, so that is how to sell language pattern for selling books on stage. Okay, Mike Toy. And by the way, we've got another 15 minutes or so left for questions. So get your questions in. I think I've got enough to cover me for the 15, but maybe we'll get a chance for a couple bonus ones. All right. So the question is, Mike Toy says, can you talk about creating digital courses? What to do and what not to do? Great. Thank you, Mike, for that. So a couple of things. When it comes to digital courses, the first thing, Mike, is the solution to the problem. Now, I don't have time to go into an entire tome on creating courses, but the first step is a problem to solve. So when people come to me and say, hey, I want to create a course for this market, the first question I ask is, what's the problem that you solve? Now, this is a general marketing question, works for anything. But the reason I ask that question is because I'd say, Mike, about half, maybe 70% of the people that answer that question, the moment I ask them, what's the problem you solve, they immediately start talking about themselves, okay? They're like, well, my product is amazing because, and then they just say things about themselves. And so I always ask the problem you solve question because fundamentally, if a product doesn't solve a problem, then a product's not gonna sell, okay? Now, you have a secondary difficulty with products in this world we live in today. So when I started marketing products back in 2006, 2007, 2008, for example, let's say you wanted to build a beautifully terraced backyard garden. Well, in 2006, 7, and 8, you could build an ebook or an online course on how to build a beautifully terraced backyard garden. And you could buy some clicks on Google and you could sell that course for $97 and you could make $10,000, $15,000 a month with your e-course on how to build a backyard terraced garden. Here's the thing, man, in 2020, where we're recording this right now, if you want to build a backyard terraced garden, there's a million YouTube videos and all kinds of stuff on Facebook and everywhere else to teach you how to do that. And so free information has killed a lot of information marketing products and businesses, but it hasn't killed everything. So for example, I have a product on effective communication. It's called The Secret Weapon that sells very well. I have a product on productivity. It's called the 21-Day Time Freedom Miracle that sells pretty well. I have a product that shows people how to use their ideas to get paid as an advisor to come into businesses and get paid $5,000 to $50,000 in single deals to use their brain to help companies or people grow. Now, the material inside of those courses is material that is, in a lot of ways, I do the work for people. So they get my forms and my scripts and my agreements and my presentations and everything they need to go off and run a successful business. The second thing is it's really specific in terms of the phraseology and the branding, and you could go off and learn stuff on YouTube videos, but not how to put all this together. And so my question really comes down to what's the problem you solve, and then building something that you're not that you're not competing against something that's free. Okay, so cool. Thank you for that, Mike. Linda Cordes. If you don't know Linda, she's amazing. All right, she works with school districts and teachers to show them how to build amazing math programs. All right, so Linda says, what suggestions do you have for sending out a press release and getting on local national news for COVID-19 solutions for parents managing virtual learning at home with their kids? Great. Thank you for that, Linda. So I think I would skip the press release altogether. I do know that the local news agencies are, they still do look at press releases. I would literally get on the phone and call the producer of the local TV show, and I would send them, get their email, Linda, and I would send them, you've got a great sizzle reel on your website that shows you, it was in our studio here in San Diego, but it shows you in different set environments. Send them an email with that sizzle reel, okay? And the sizzle reel will show them that you know what you're talking about. And then, so give them a call or find them on LinkedIn. All those folks are sitting on LinkedIn. So I would try the outbound approach first. And then remember yesterday's episode with Mark Pattison, where he talked about how he was the guy that basically sold the green umbrellas to Starbucks. Remember that person is very busy, so they might not get back to you right away. So try them again, wait a few days, try them again, wait a few days, and try them again. You've got at least 3 local affiliates. You've got your ABC, NBC, and CBS affiliate. You probably also have your Fox affiliate there locally. So there's 4 different producers, but that's actually not even it. There's usually a morning, a midday, and an evening producer. So each of those have their own. That's 12 producers, and you get 1 TV appearance, and it opens up the door to all the other ones. So I would just take the direct approach, and more to come on that. All right. So G Corradino, your question is, Ed, I want to build a social media brand with daily short videos on Instagram or LinkedIn. Do you have any advice on where to find subjects for content? All right, so you guys make fun of me for the coffee thing, and I'm just telling you now I'm starting to drink it. It's being drinking. All right, I should. So side. This actually has to do with your question, but I'm going to make this a side point. Then I'm going to read your question again. All of these shows every day, I'm taking the content from the shows and chopping it up into 3 to 7 minute videos. Some of them are even shorter than that. And so you'll notice when I ask these questions, I'll stop, I'll ask the question and answer the question. That's why me drinking the coffee didn't actually work in there. Because what I can do then is I can fast forward, go to the question, get to the answer of the question, and I can use this as a single social media hit. So if you happen to be on Instagram, I'm gonna do your question and read your question in a second. If you happen to be on Instagram, what you see, I'm gonna actually pull up my Instagram. Oh, well, probably should be connected to the internet if I'm gonna do that. I'll pull up my Instagram and show you this really quickly. These are posts that are actual IGTV video posts. Oh, sorry about the blur. But those things are clips from the show, because if I'm going to create content, I might as well create more digestible pieces of content that will lead to greater views. Okay, so specifically to your question, she says, or G Corradino says, Ed, I want to build a social media brand with daily short videos on Instagram or LinkedIn. Do you have any advice on where to find subjects or content? So I'll take you back to the first step, which I discussed in a previous question, which is, what's the problem you solve? Start with the problem. In fact, you actually start with the market. There's a deeper marketing discussion in there, but find the market, define the problem, and then build your answers around the problem. So for example, next week, we have a show. I'm going to pull this one up. It's called the top 9 social media tips to explode your brand. When we decided on that, I actually went around to a whole bunch of the different social media, YouTube, and I just saw, how do people describe certain things? And it used to have a different name, but I thought, you know what? On each of these shows, we're going to share 15 to 20 strategies. I thought 9 was safe. And so I just formatted it as the top 9. But the first thing you need to do is start with what is the problem, okay? The second thing you need to do, and I mean this when I say this, and on Monday, when we do live streaming, I'm gonna go deep on this. The second thing you need to do is you need to press record. So there are 2 ways. I have people that I know, and I've got a great comment that just came in. I wanna just say this. Roy, my man, says, I started live streaming. Like you said, it was pretty easy. Hey, I got 30 subscribers. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. 30 is going to turn into 300. 300 is going to turn into 30,000. Okay. So back to this question. The second step is to flat out turn on the thing. Okay. Just do it. Because this has been my experience. Take this show, for example. We are on episode 13. We're recording this on Friday, by the way. Friday, the 13th episode. Sounds like a horror show, but it's not, okay? So if you go back to the first episode is, yeah, just okay. You know what I'm saying? The cameras were kind of a little on the blurry side and they're still not perfect, by the way. The sound, I don't know if you remember, I think the first day, like my batteries went dead, something like that. The graphics, I didn't have it all figured out. The lights, I had to kind of adjust just a little bit. But it took doing it, okay, and starting to figure it out just a little bit until I got better at it and better at it and better at it. You go back in time and listen to Gary Vee's first show. You go back in time and listen to anyone's first show. You'll notice on YouTube, for example, now each of the shows have these cool little branding things like this thing popping right up in front of you. Like I didn't have that when we first started out. So my thought is just do it. Flat out, just do it. And I'm going to tell you, you might do your first video and get like 2 views. So what? So what? It's been my experience. So I took my Instagram page from essentially 0 followers to almost 90,000 followers. And here's what I realized. Going from 300 people to 500 people is as hard as going from 30,000 to 50,000. At some point, you hit the hockey stick. And my suggestion to you is to get it out there long enough and consistently enough, solving people's problems that you hit that. Okay? So thank you for that question. Let's see. I'm just going to keep rolling down the line here. Dennis, I answered yours. Let's see. Oh, cool. So Nishad, what's up, man? So Nishad says, I published a book with PAP, which by the way was a program that we used to have called Publish and Profit, on how to go to college with no debt. I like that, dude. I like it. I want to turn this into a $97 product to sell. What's the best way to do it? All right. So I really like this idea. And not every book can get turned into a product. So there's one, just a little shift to this that I would consider. Now, full disclosure, now is not the best time to do this because right now people are all stuck and not thinking about getting in or going into college. But what I would consider doing is putting your shingle out. In other words, website, a little bit of social media, maybe a couple of YouTube videos, and make it clear that people can hire you to help them with that. There is an entire college planning market. I've got several clients of mine who have come out of the college planning world. They get paid really, really well to help people get into college, get grants, get scholarships, and save some money. So Nishad, there is definitely a market for this, but put it out there that you're available to help people. And my suggestion is to find a handful of clients. Maybe you'll charge them $500, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, something not exorbitant, but enough that they're invested in you. And all of the work that you're doing with your clients, begin to encapsulate that training so that you can put it into a product. There are sometimes, in certain cases, the fastest way to the cash, which I'm always interested in, like the faster way. Sometimes the faster way to the cash is to go out and get actual deals. There's a mathematical reason for this, by the way. If you put up a course, like a training course online, for every 100 people that see that page, maybe 1 will buy it, maybe, and that's good, by the way. 1% conversion is actually good, but if you talk to 20 people, 2 or 3 are going to sign up with you, and that's over 10%. And so when you're just starting out with a product, my sense normally is that the fastest way to get paid is actually to help people one-on-one, and through helping people one-on-one, you start to learn the objections, you start to learn their big questions, and you start to begin to adjust around that so that you can help them. Okay, cool. Let me keep cranking through this. Yeah, Diana, if you want to email me at coaching@edrush. Just so you know, I check that email account about twice a week, so you won't get an answer right away, but I will answer you, okay? All right, so I've got, let's see, I've got about 5 minutes. So I'm going to do some rapid fire Q&A, and we will do another Q&A session, by the way. We'll do another Q&A. Next week, we got incredible shows for you. The week after that, I've got some guests lined up that you're going to love. I've got one of my guests routinely briefs Congress on China. Okay, so I'm going to bring in one of my buddies that's in front of Congress all the time talking about China, and there is no more pertinent topic right now than that. All right, so Gisbert, my man Gizzy, says, what do you do with people who say, what do you do with people who you want to... Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry. I thought chain. I don't know what ST big is. Is that like the abbreviation of the bad word? All right. Who say, so what do you do with people who want to change things big, who say, let's wait and see what the world is turning into and say, let's do it now? Seems that everyone is in pause mode. All right. So Dennis, or Gizzy, I was thinking about this question when I was answering Dennis's question too, which is this. Right now, people are in let's make a deal mode. So back to Dennis, your question. if you have some discretionary income, if there's somebody that you've been interested in working with to get advice, to get ideas, I can tell you that every single one of the teacher guru folks like me right now are open to the discussion of doing things a little differently in terms of payment. And the reason why is nobody knows what's going to happen, right? I have a good feeling like good things are going to happen, but we don't know that that's actually going to happen. And so on the other side, Gizzy, of your question, there's a lot of people who are on kind of like a wait and see sort of thing right now. Okay, so what I like to do when it comes to motivating people is I prefer to add value instead of discounting. You catch me on that? So instead of saying, for example, the Ultimate Speaker event right now is for sale for $697. If you want a coupon code, I'll give you one. Okay, $100 off. That's what I did just last week. The coupon code is discount. It's the word discount. Okay, so if you're not registered, register. So instead of like half price or whatever, I like the idea of adding value. So think about in your deals right now, how can you add something in or add several things in that are really compelling to people that push them over the hump, and just say, look, I know times are questionable right now, so let's just put a deal together, and I'm going to add a few extra things that I wouldn't normally do because I know times are a little uncertain, and we can do that. All right, cool. Gary Rush, no relation other than awesomeness. Okay, you should have this shirt, Gary Rush. So Gary says, hold on, coffee drink. All right, Gary says, how do I cut through the noise to get eyes on my marketing message and get them to take action? Gary, isn't that the question of the day? So I really like this, and you're right, and it connects with the previous question about getting people to actually do something. Okay, so here's what I've found is probably the single most important point about marketing anything, and it all has to do with your target market. Let me just define this as closely as I can. The bottom of my funnel, the top of my funnel, I've got all kinds of lead sources. The center of my funnel are my events, right? So most of the people that come to me to one of my two yearly events. The bottom of my funnel, the part that makes roughly 60 to 70% of the revenue, are my coaching, consulting, and advising clients. So my ideal is to get folks down there. Now, the perfect person for this category right here is a six-figure business and up, okay? My perfect person describes themselves as the CEO, as the president, or the founder is the most important word of a company. My ideal person is somebody who's already invested in themselves. They buy books, they've joined masterminds, they've bought products. And my ideal person is somebody who I'd like to be around with and recognizes the value of implementation. Okay, so there are a few categories there. There was a financial one, 6 figures and up. There was a person who is a founder, a CEO, person who's invested in themselves, person I like to be around, person who recognizes the value of good information. That's basically 5 categories. Some of those things, Gary, I can target. Like, for example, I can use LinkedIn to target CEOs and founders, and in certain cases, I can link that to business demographics and find out who's in a certain category. So I just pulled a list, for example, from Info USA, which is just a mailing service, of the CEOs in a 50-mile radius around Dallas who have $500,000 all the way up to $500,000 all the way up to $40 million businesses. There's 4,000 of those. 4,000. That's an ideal group for the bottom of my funnel. So to get people to take action, first step is get in front of the ideal customer for you. I mean, like, ideal. For example, Gary, I know you've done some work in the past with Tony Robbins Platinum folks. You can look on places like YouTube or Google Ads and find those people. You can target, in certain cases, on LinkedIn, you certainly can, because they're part of a group. You can target those folks. Those are the people that you want to get in front of. All right, good question. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. In about 45 seconds, we're gonna shift gears into Focus Friday, and then we're going to wrap up the show with a little bit of fun and a little bit of motivation. So here's what you're going to do right now. Jump into chat on YouTube or below in the comment section on Facebook. And I want you to tell me over the next 7 days, we do this every week, by the way, if you're just new here, over the next 7 days, I want you to tell me what you're going to focus on, what your main implementation item is going to be, or what you're going to start. It could be any of those things. You might want to continue something on the fitness side, the nutrition side. Maybe you want to knock something out, like write another 2 chapters of your book. Maybe you want to start podcasting. Maybe you're going to live stream. Maybe your goal is to make all 5 episodes of the Bunker Bash. I don't know what your goal is going to be. Okay. So, oh, here's a question. Oh man, I'm going to answer this, by the way. This is awesome. By the way, I know I missed some questions. Oh, Gina, I don't know the answer to the H2 Bev question. Can you wear while you're wearing a costume? I'm going to try to get Tyler, my research friend, actually on one of the shows. We can talk about it a little bit. Thank you, Mike Semmel. Say hoorah. I love it. Oh, hey, Greg, thanks for that. I didn't know who you were. Let's see. Okay, Matt, I love your question. I'm going to do it really quickly. How can I get people to understand that they have a problem? We have always done it this way and works fine, prevalent mentality. So the way to do it, I'm going to do this really quickly, is to connect to the story that's going on in their head. So for example, for basketball referees, the story inside of the head of a basketball referee is that there's this good old boy network. So instead of denying that in our pro basketball referee or court club elite website, we acknowledge that, and then we offer them the benefit. The benefit is becoming a Division I or an NBA referee, frankly. So instead of denying what's not totally true, we acknowledge this and we bring them into a discussion of the benefit of the thing that they want. I'm going to do that really, really quickly. Yeah, Nishad, awesome to see you as well. Really quickly, Denise said, do I allow comments after YouTube or not? I'm just laughing because I just dealt with this week, and I'm going to be fully transparent because I always am with you. I'm not kidding you. I have not held anything back at all. So this week on one of the episodes, somebody got on the comments and said, boy, this guy, I don't know who this guy is, but he really likes the sound of his own voice. And then they went on to say some really mean things. And I'm like, wait a second. This is me just teaching content, there's not even a paywall that you have to pay through it. And then somebody else goes, oh, all they're doing is promoting. And I'm like, promoting things? You should see it in the other thing. And then there was somebody else who said these comments, these ones here, they said it was irritating and annoying. And so you know what I did? I know I shouldn't admit this publicly, or maybe I should, but Denise, you know what I did? At first, I got a little annoyed about it. And then second thing is I got over it really quickly. And the third thing, you know what I did, is I just deleted them. Okay, I totally forgot. You can delete comments off your own darn YouTube page. Because here's the thing. This is a very simple rule. 10% of the people in the world are idiots. That's it. That's all you need to know. 10% of the people in the world are idiots. So if you get 1,000 views on a video, you're going to get 100 idiots. Think about that for a second. And those 100 idiots have computers. So, very simple question. My daughter actually dealt with this. She's 14, and somebody said something nasty online, and they were anonymous, right? And here's my advice on this. If you got on a city bus, you just got on, went down to the 4th row, and there was this drunk homeless person, hair all over the place, okay? And that homeless person started making suggestions to you about your hairstyle. Would you listen to them? Would you be like, yeah, he's right, I really need it? No, you wouldn't, because that person is crazy. But for some reason, when some anonymous person jumps onto a YouTube video, all of a sudden you're supposed to care what that person thinks. And here's the thing, you shouldn't, except for this. If you put out a book, or if you put out videos, or if you put out social media, and you get 0 negative responses, If you get 0, you've actually done something wrong. Because remember what I said, 10% of the people in the world are idiots. So my rule is 8 to 12%. If you look, for example, at 21 Day Miracle, I know this is like a tangent, but you know what? We're going to have fun doing this. I'm going to show you this really quickly. This is going to take a second. All right, check it out. So if you go over to Amazon, I want you to look at this. I have 269 reviews, which I'm really, really thrilled about, by the way. That's 269. Look at my man, Jim Butts, right here. Boom. One of the very first ones. 8%. 8%. 8%. 8%. Think about this for a second. That's 16. That's like 20 one-star reviews. If I let that bother me, in fact, sometimes I do, but then I go read the 5-star ones. And you can't even delete them off of Amazon. But then I realized that's the reason why the book sold so well. When you create something really good, here's the deal. It attracts the right people and it repels the wrong people. And if you repel the wrong people, congratulations. You know why? They were never going to do anything with you anyway. You don't even want them around. If you repel them and they 1-star review you, you should throw a party for yourself because you did it right. Because here's the thing. There are people watching this show right now because of this book. There are people at my event right now because of this book. There are people whose relationships have changed because of this book. There's people whose businesses have changed because of this book. There's people whose finances have changed because of this book. There's people who have changed because of this book. That's the 90%. So I'm here to tell you, if you get no critical comments, you actually did something wrong. Hopefully that will help your question. All right, or answer your question quickly. Someone else said, oh, thank you, Delisa. You answered actually some of the questions that are in there. Oh, hey, Gina, congratulations. First live stream this weekend. I love it. 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 All right, so I'm going to shift really quickly into, I got to find it. I'm going to shift really quickly. This question, by the way, Sal, we use Infusionsoft, and I'm not recommending it. I'm simply answering your question. Okay? Thank you, Delisa. So, all right. So, oh yeah, by the way, ultimatespeaker.com, coupon code is discount. If you're not registered, register. We're going to do the event in June, or we're going to do the event digital. Okay? But we're going to do the event. All right. So, I've got, I'm going to jump into Focus Friday. David Zetz, 6-figure millennials. By the way, that's yesterday I was talking about, or I think it was yesterday. I can't remember these days. I was talking about, oh, thank you, Delisa. I was talking about how millennials are saving us financially in the United States. If you didn't watch that episode, it's the 10 ways, 10 things COVID-19 are changing forever. Thank you, Delisa. Hit the share button. If you like and share, it tells YouTube and Facebook that they should show this content to other places. They meter the content based on interaction. So that would be really great. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. All right. So here are some Focus Friday stuff. Dr. Tom, my man, he said, project, get to San Diego for a one-on-one session with, I can make that happen, dude. I can make that happen. Email me. Oh gosh. We're a little over quickly. Solving problems, what people want to hear. So you can search for that in terms of the search information. Number 3, what you want to talk about. Okay, quick. Let's see. We're going to get to Focus Friday. Sally said, this week I caught up on Bunker Bash. Gary Rush, write out a draft of what I want to offer. I love it. David, convert 25 free trial members on my fitness app into 7 sales calls. Boom. Very specific goal. I love it. Thank you. Sally, this week, keep walking 3-mile loop and work on step 1 of 2 of my story. I love it. I love it. I love it. And by the way, if you like stories and you want to learn how to tell better stories, my man, Michael Haig, we did an episode this week that was by far one of the best interviews I've ever done. go backwards and see it. Just look for the Marvel folks on the picture. And I asked Michael as soon as we were done, I'm like, you got to come back, man, because this is awesome. Gina, first live stream this weekend. I love it. Dennis, that is great. Conundrum. Girlfriend says no to building airplane. You say do it. Well, look, it's the same reason my mom cried at my commissioning, Dennis. She doesn't want to see you, So just, I can't help you. I can't help you. I was going to give you some advice, but I'm done. All right, Linda, contact 12 plus news producers and get on the news. Phone, LinkedIn. Sandeep. Oh, hey, what's up? Aubrey, create a fresh outline for my book. Good. Wendell Bugs, clean up noise, clear up emails and voicemails, clutter my work area. I have a challenge for you now that I just read this. I have a challenge for everyone. Empty your inbox at the end of Friday, and I usually try to do it at the end of every day. I get to 0 on my inbox. I may throw that on Instagram today just to post that. Empty your inbox. The feeling of freedom you have when you empty it, and some of you have like 1,400 read emails or whatever. Here's what you do. Select all, mark as read, boom, done. You're not going to read them anyway, okay? Start fresh. Boom, John, commit to live streaming. Yes, that's right. That's what I'm talking about, but not at 10. Gina, yeah, thank you. You can do anything you want as far as the comments go. 10%. So this comment, if you just joined us, by the way, I said 10% of the people in the world are idiots. And Terry is a board trained psychiatrist, so he would know. All right, so that's so great. My next step for me is to phone a city official to get paid for my nonprofit work. I love it. I love it. Make that phone call. And by the way, Diana, you might take more than one call. Thank you, John, for the comment. This is Oz at Iron Core. Great content, focusing on new breathing techniques I've been implementing. Have a great and healthy weekend. Awesome. Oz, I did it again, baby. This morning I posted on Instagram. Oz is my kettlebell guy, so I just posted this picture. If you can see it on Instagram, those are my 2 kettlebells. I did there's the lights though. I did, Oz, there's an exercise, 7 straight exercises, 30-second break blocks. I did it 4 times through, up the weight today, almost killed myself. And here I am. So thanks, buddy. Go follow Iron Core Way on Instagram. 2 things. Love this content and love your, thank you, my man. Hey, that was really cool for you to say that. By the way, if you haven't gone to edrushbook.com, go to edrushbook.com. There's a bunch of free stuff there. Aubrey says, unsubscribe. And if you read that comment out of context, you would think, wait a second, is she saying to unsubscribe from Ed? No, she's saying go to your inbox, unsubscribe. All right, here's the deal. I got to the end of my comments, but I'm going to give you because you came to all the way to the end. I'm going to throw in an extra bonus, okay? That you just for you to be here, and maybe I'll even cut this out on the actual recording. That way, only you get it. So here's the extra bonus. Create 2 separate email accounts. I personally have 3. Okay, and so this is I'm just telling you what I do. So I have 1 email account. So when I buy things online, Amazon, anytime that I sign up for anyone's email list, anytime that filling out an opt-in page besides mine, use this. I have an email address, email inbox that gets about 500 emails a day that just all kind of fill up there. So if I want to do product shipping or something like that, that's over there, but I almost never log into it unless I need to see something. I have another email address. That's the one, Diana, that we sent to you. It's coaching@edrush.com. And I use that email address for one-on-one correspondence with my coaching members primarily. I check that email 2 to 3 times a week. They know that, by the way. And I tell them that I'll always get back to them, usually within a week. And normally it's within 1 or 2 days. But that email inbox is designed for correspondence with my clients. Now, I've given that out for you as you're watching this show because I want to be able to help you during this time as well. But that's primarily where I'm communicating one-on-one with my clients. I have another email address. So this one over here for mass emails. This one, I just gave you the email address. This one, I don't give to anybody. This is for my team, okay? So my team members and the people that I communicate with regularly, like, my wife gets that email address. My team members, any of the folks, for example, that I'm going to be interviewing, people that I have to stay up on, is over here. That email address doesn't have these businesses over here. So I'm not getting constantly inundated with new emails that I have to continue to unsubscribe from or anything like that. And the only other ones that make it into that inbox is if I'm really interested in following somebody. I'm talking like I gotta see every time they send an email, I'll put it over there. And then after a month or two, once I've got the content that I wanted, I'll put it back over on this one, okay? 3 inboxes. Divide your inboxes. And that way, for example, like my coaching one will fill up. It's got about 9 emails in it right now, but today's Friday. So I'll go through each of those emails, respond to each of them. It'll be empty, and then I'll close it out. And I'll probably check it again on Monday, and then I'll probably wait a day, check it on Wednesday. But that way you don't feel overwhelmed by all the things that you have here, and then you can empty this one out, all right? So little unsolicited, cool, extra little bonusy there for you. And I think that's going to be it. So my man Iron Core says excellent, and Aubrey says yes. Dude, we could just keep going. We could just keep going. But you know what? We are going to keep going. I'm going to show you next week really quickly, and then we're going to wrap it up. I committed, by the way, to doing this for the foreseeable future. Next week, show number 1, live streaming tips to grow your business. That's on Monday. Show number 2, top 9 social media tips to explode your brand. That is on Tuesday. Wednesday, top 9 podcasting tips to broadcast your message with Paul Culligan. Thursday, top 9 LinkedIn tips to connect with your ideal customer. Gary Rush, you need to show up for this one. This is your show. And then on Friday, we're going to wrap it up with publishing. And then Friday is also Focus Friday. All right. Thanks, Kissy. I appreciate the comment about the shirt. It's not Bumper Bash, but it got it mostly right. It's edrush.com/bunker bash. Thank you, Aubrey, for the awesome comments. Here's the thing. We're going to be in our houses for a little while. And then when we get out, we're going to go off and change the world. And I'm here to tell you that this week, I've had episodes where we've had 100, 200, up to 1,000 views. By the time we're done, you watch. There will be thousands of people here on the Bunker Bash. And I'm going to show you some of the behind the scenes ways on how that's growing and how that's happening next week. Remember what I said, this too shall pass. And when it does, you're going to be better, faster, stronger, and together we are going to change the world. And I mean that. We're going to go to Washington. We're going to go to the rest of the world, and the entrepreneurs are going to start running the world. Why not now? Now's the best time in the world to get your message out. Now's the best time in the world to build your platform. Now is not the best time in the world to Netflix and chill. Listen, I've been watching some Netflix, but at night, not during the workday. Dial it in because it's an incredible opportunity right now that you have. All right, so this is the Bunker Bash. I appreciate you very much. I'm going to stick around for just a few minutes just to catch up on a couple of little chat comments, so please do say goodbye. If you haven't already done this, so hit the subscribe button, please, but also hit like and comment and share. That really, really does mean a lot to me, especially when you share it on your social media. It really is an honor that you do that, and I see that, okay? So I really appreciate it when you do that. Love you guys, and I like you. I will see you on Monday for live streaming tips. This is the Bunker Bash. Get better, faster, stronger, and I will talk to you soon.